Market Update 2022 going into the summer. Chris, tell us what's going on.
It's no secret that interest rates have been on the rise. It was common back in 2020 to see rates in the high ones and in the twos, even some in the threes as far as your percentages go. Now you're seeing stuff like fours and fives being super common, and it's changing a lot of things. But one thing that has not changed is houses are still flying off the shelf, as people are still having the realization that they're no longer confined to their job, because with COVID happening, they figured out, a lot of people figured out that they could do their job from home. So it's getting them out of a lot of these high-priced cities and into places that are more cost-effective for living, such as Florida, and specifically Ocala, Florida. We're one of the lowest cost counties. Marion County is one of the lowest cost counties in the whole state. So people are still flocking here, and there's still lots of buildable land. And even though with inflation, everything is jacked up right now price-wise, this specific area is still lower than a lot of the surrounding areas. So it's the lesser of the two evils. So, with that being said, houses are still being listed every day. I'm picking up listings almost weekly. Things are still moving. People are still coming here. People are still finding that they're saving money by coming here. It's a good place to be. Yeah,
absolutely. And also investors, right? Seems like they're still pouring money into
They are. Yeah, they are. Because with what we have here as far as the springs go, we have springs, we have the river, we have zip lining. There's nightlife here. It's a good spot for stuff like Airbnbs. And so these investors don't mind paying the prices that they're paying. Some of these investors, especially with one of my last listings, they were like, yeah, we'll gladly pay 20 grand over asking, and the seller can pick the closing date. We'll pay closing costs, and we'll choose the title company and take, they don't care because they know that it's going to be a cash cow wherever they land, And so you do see a lot of investors coming. We wouldn't call it an investor's market just yet, because it's your average investor is looking to buy low and sell high. But with the way that this economy here is developing, it's still a good idea, even if you're not getting what you would consider a deal.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. So we're going into summer. Typically summer's super busy. What have you, I guess, just from you on the ground, on the field, what have you been noticing leading up into summer?
More people are starting to, especially because they're about to be a lot busier with having kids coming out of school. They're trying to get their situations knocked out of the way now before the next school year starts, or before the kids are home full time. So I'm seeing a ton of listings. I have more listings now than I've had in a long time. And it's a nice thing to have. Because the listing kind of takes care of itself. Either people want the house or they don't. It's my job to orchestrate it. But that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing is people, they're kind of on the back end of what people thought was the hot market. Now that interest rates are starting to rise, and they're like, okay, now we're ready to go. And a lot of people that held out during the hotter parts of the market, they're starting to budge now. And so people are kind of coming out of the woodwork, and then you're seeing houses and communities that you thought were untouchable. Suddenly they're putting the house up for sale, and it's like, even though this community only has 100 or 200 houses in it, I can get into it now. Some of these places are in demand. My neighborhood is in demand like crazy. So yeah, you're seeing people move now.
Yeah. There's a sense of normalcy where people are like, oh yeah, we can move. They're not afraid to get locked down or quarantined, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And with especially with stuff restoring in some of the other states too. New York City, for instance, they dropped the mask mandate, the vaccine mandate in most places. People aren't afraid to get out there a little bit more, and travel and do the things that they've wanted to do. So this whole new wave of people for a different reason are now selling, so it's pretty cool. I've had especially cool customers lately. I love most of my customers, but yeah, they're different flavor of cool, so it's cool to watch the change happen. What's up, guys? Chris the Ocala Realtor here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out the next one, and don't forget to subscribe.